Hey guys, welcome to Charter School Studios. It's Ravenwolf, and we're back on another Deck Tech Friday. Today we're doing Copy no Jutsu, and this one we want to copy all our opponent's stuff, do everything they do, and maybe a little better. With the commander, we have Tasha the Witch Queen, 5 mana Planeswalker, where you cast a spell you don't own, create a 3/3 black demon creature token. +1 is draw a card for each opponent, exile up to one target instant or sorcery card from that player's graveyard, and put a page counter on it. -3, you may cast a spell from among cards and exile with page counters on them without paying its mana cost. So with her immediately is a draw engine, and we want to get our opponent's instant sorceries from the graveyard and use them. Going to our Planeswalkers, we have Karn Liberated. Target player exiles a card from their hand to control their hand. Exile target permanent, which is removal. And -14, restart the game, leaving in exile all non or permanent cards exiled with Karn Liberated, then put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Basically, if we get to the long game, we're going to try and ultimate him after we've removed some things. Second, we have Karn, Scion of Urza. Reveal the top 2 cards of your library, and opponent chooses one of them. Put that card into your hand and exile the other with a silver counter on it. Basically, it's a way to get some card advantage and your opponent chooses. -1, put a card you own with a silver counter on it from exile into your hand. And -2 is recreate a 0/0 construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Basically going to if we want to do that, which we don't want to, because we're running a good amount of artifacts, but it's in a meh, but it'll give us some blockers. Our next Planeswalker is Vraska, Betrayal Sting. Her 0 cost is draw a card, you lose life, proliferate. -2 is we're going to turn target creature into a treasure. And -9, if target player has fewer than 9 poison counters, to get a number of poison counters equal to the difference. That's a kind of a win con if we can keep her alive after we do that. It's not even a win con really, because it's just one opponent. Going to our creatures, we have Archaeomancer to get our instant sorcerers back from the graveyard. Dothy Voidwalker is to get our opponent's stuff and, of course, get it back. Deadeye Navigator is to flicker some of our ETBs like Archaeomancer or Delivering Primordial, which is next. This will get us our opponent's instants and sorceries from their graveyard. Displacer Kitten will let us flicker our creatures with ETB abilities. Fate Spinner is kind of a stack piece against our opponents to slow down some of their turns. Gonti Lord of Luxury will get us one of our opponent's things. Hostage Taker is removal, and we can cast it. Hullbreaker Horror is kind of a win con if we storm off. We're just going to bounce our opponent's stuff back. Lead Myrrh is a mana dork. Master Girl is a board wipe. Opposition Agent is to slow our opponents down from tutoring. Peregrine Drake is a combo with Deadeye Navigator. And with Displacer Kitten. Silver Myrrh. Solemn Simulacrum as to get a land and card draw. Spark Double. We can make it as another copy of our commander or any of our other dudes or planeswalkers. Thieving Amalgam will get us our opponent's stuff. Basically, it's just to get blockers, and it's kind of like a tax piece. Ulamog is just a Titan Shuffler, but if we do cast it, and the Annihilator is pretty great. Xanathar, Guild Kingpin. Being of your upkeep, choose target opponent. Until end of turn, that player can't cast spells. You may look at the top card of their library anytime you may play the top card of the library, and you may spend mana as though of any color to cast spells this way. This basically is what our commander Tasha does. Going to our sorceries. Demonic Tutor to get the deck, or to get the card. We have Grim Tutor as well. Praetor's Grasp will let us get our opponent's thing. Profane Tutor is a tutor. Spell Twine. So this one will not trigger our commander because we're copying the spells. We're not actually casting the spells. We're casting the copies. Tasha C's Laughter is a fun mill mechanic. Temporal Manipulation is to take an extra turn. Tendrils of Agony is when we storm off and is a little bit of life gain. Xander's Pact is to get our opponent's cards to cast them. Then we have Cabal Ritual and Dark Ritual for mana ramping. Darkness to save our commander and or us. Deadly Rollick for removal. Dismember, also removal. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. We have Dramatic Reversal to go with our Isochron Scepter. Force Negation and Force of Will and Mana Drain, all for counter spells. I don't like... Why does it switch that? I don't like that Mana Drain. I want to go back to the one I have. Where's mine? Double Masters. There we go. We have Memory Plunder to get our opponent's spell. Rad Storm to proliferate and hopefully keep our commander alive. Twin Cast to also copy of our I cannot speak today. To copy our opponent's instants or sorceries. Or our own. Vampiric Tutor is a tutor, of course. Going to our artifacts, we have Aether Flux as a win con. Alter the Brood to mill our opponent so we can get their instants and sorceries. Arcane Signet as a mana rock. Bolas's Citadel to go with Aether Flux and Sensei's Divining Top. Chromatic Ori for mana fixing and a really good mana rock. Coalition Relic as a mana rock. Commander Sphere. Gilded Lotus, Isochron Scepter to go with Dramatic Reversal. Mana Vault. Pendant of Prosperity is kind of a negotiation deal to keep us alive if we get too controlled. Realm Breaker is to mill our opponents and get their lands. Rings of Brighthearth is to copy activated abilities we control. Sensei's Divining Top to control our draws and to go with Aether Flux and Bolas's Citadel. Soul Ring and Wizard's Spellbook to get our opponent's instants and sorceries, including our own. Then we have Cutting Rhetoric to protect our commanders and get our opponent's stuff. Dance of the Dead when we mill our opponents and to get theirs or our creatures back. Inexorable Tide is to keep our planeswalkers alive. Mystic Remora for card draw. That is not the one I picked. I want mine. Where's mine at? Here we go. That's one I have. It really jumped up in price. I remember when it was only $25. Negligent Miss is to hand control our opponents, slow them down. Necropotence for card advantage. Also, my buddies got this to me for my birthday. It's a card I really, really like. Lands, I did go a little cheap on. We have Choked Estuary, Cybertron, Darkwater Catacombs, Exotic Orchard, Tin Island, Odawara Soaring City is going to be for kind of a bounce spell, but also a good land. River of Tears is a good land. Sunken Hollow, 14 Swamps, Temple of Deceit for our Scryland, and Mycosynth Gardens. If we need it to, we can make it another copy of an artifact that we want or need. Now, all these cards are the arts that I have, except for like the lands, except for Cybertron, I have that one. But yeah, like these are the exact versions of my cards. So this is why this deck is $1,200. It's really expensive because of the tutors, because of the Necropotence, because of Mr. Remora, especially the one I have. Dance of the Dead is up there. But yeah. If you were to build this deck very, very cheap, I think you could. Is there an option to make it cheap? Let me see. I forgot you could buy it. Card Kingdom. Yeah. I forgot. There's a way to make the entire deck cheap as heck. But yep. Let's go ahead and we're gonna play test it. Though it's hard to play test because it relies on our opponent having stuff in the graveyard. But with this, we will at least try and run what the deck would do with your mana. So immediately we're going to do a swamp. Next turn, Dark Water Catacombs. We have no 2-cost thing. Next turn, a swamp. 3 cost, we're going to do Pendant of Prosperity to one of our opponents. In turn 4, we have Fate Spinner, a swamp. We need our second blue, but we have a free counter spell in our hand. And we can also do Tendrils of Agony on our turn. We could do that. Cast Commander, automatically draw a card and get a thing. Let's go ahead and restart, see if we can get a better hand. Immediately better hand. We're going to do Mycosynth. Oop, forgot to draw for turn. Alright, Mycosynth Gardens. Draw a card. Dark Water Catacombs. Demonic Tutor. Right now, I would say I kind of want to get... man, what would I want to grab right now? Probably need to get lands. So what we're going to do is an island. We're just going to grab an island. We don't need Demonic Tutor for a win con. That's turn 2. Turn 3. Island. Coalition Relic. Next turn. Swamp. And we'll say we put a counter on Coalition Relic. So that's 1, 2, or 1 mana, 3, 4, 5. We'll leave Coalition Relic untapped. Boom. Drawing a card. Putting a counter on her. Yeah, remove a counter. Add a loyalty counter. There you go. And if we say we got like one of our opponent's ramp spells or something like that, because usually that's what happens. Turn 5, we could easily swamp. And the way we could do this is 1, 2, 3. We could do Necropotent if we wanted to. We could cast not Karn or the Chromatic Ori, but what we could do is we have 6 mana. We could probably cut it up into Fate Spinner and Necropotence if we wanted to. And then we wouldn't draw any, or for a draw phase any turn. We could easily up our Tasha again to draw a card. There we go. Next turn we could do Hullbreaker Horror if we wanted to. -3, bounce something. So yeah, this deck is really hard to play in simulation because right now, I'll play this one out. Sensei's. Turn 2, we're going to do that. Can we suspend that? We'll suspend that. And then we're going to we'll draw a card, putting Sensei's on top. And was it suspend 2? So we'll set 2 counters. Next turn, we remove a counter. We'll do an Exotic Orchard, and we're going to do a Grim Tutor. For the Grim Tutor view, we're going to grab, Dramatic Reversal, close and shuffle, and we lose 3 life. Next turn, this goes off. We're going to tutor. And for this one, oh man, what do I want to grab? I kind of want to grab a Mana Rock. You know, we're going to grab a Command Tower? No, not a Command Tower. Actually, where's the Mana Drain? Give me the Mana Drain. Close and shuffle. So on this turn, we could do a Swamp. And what would we want to do here? We'll do Sensei's Divining Top. We could hold mana open for mana drain. We could also just do Tasha's right now if we really wanted to be spicy and mean. We could also done with Solemn instead. Let's do that. So for turn 4, we'll curve out with a Solemn. We'll view library. We're gonna go get an island. What the frick? Get in there. And it eats to be tapped. Turn 5, play an island. What we could do here at this point is cast Commander and Sensei's. And yeah, that's basically the deck. We're basically trying to... It's hard to do in a simulation, but with this, we could really be mean to our opponents. We could start getting our tutors back with Archaeomancer. We could get Tutor, and then we could get Deadeye Navigator, put it on... Or get Displacer Kitten, cast a non-creature spell, bounce Archaeomancer to get another Tutor. This deck is really mean, but it's just really slow because it... One, Tasha is very slow. People get scared of her. I've played games where people will wipe her off the board repeatedly, and it's like, okay, cool, I'm just going to start casting my other things. So they just waste a lot of removal, especially Planeswalker removal. But yeah, I hope y'all guys enjoy this deck. Because of the way the specific cards I used, this deck is expensive at $1,200. You can build it cheaper. You could easily take out some of like the other big pieces to go with more card draw, more Spellslinger synergy, stuff like that. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe for more stuff in the future, and I'll see y'all again next time. Bye-bye.